Rangers need to get away from Castore and Umbro as soon as they realistically can, and before anybody says we've already left them and moved to Umbro, that's not really what happened. Umbro and Castore aren't technically the same company. Castore doesn't own the entire Umbro brand. However, Castore holds the professional teamwear license for Umbro in Britain and several other European countries. That means Castore can market, manufacture and supply Umbro branded football kits. So from a Rangers point of view, changing the Castore logo for Umbro didn't necessarily mean changing the company responsible for producing and supplying the merchandise. The Rangers website even described the Umbro kits as being released under the club's partnership with Castore. It was essentially the same relationship, only with a different logo in the front. Now, Rangers originally signed with Castore in 2020. At the time, the agreement was reported to be worth around £20 million across 5 seasons. Castore also became a retail partner, meaning the arrangement covered far more than simply putting their logo on the players' shirts. Financially, it appeared to be a very good deal for Rangers, particularly after everything that had happened with Sports Direct, Hummel and Elite. It promised a clean start, and to be fair, I don't think everything Castore produced was terrible. There have been Rangers shirts during their era that I've genuinely liked. Some of the anniversary designs were decent, and they occasionally understood how to use the club's history without completely copying an old shirt. There were good ideas in there. The problem was the overall experience. There were complaints about quality, sizing, badges, sponsors and printing. There were problems with availability and delivery, especially near the beginning of the partnership. And even when the designs looked good in photographs, the actual product didn't always feel as premium as the price suggested. That becomes especially difficult to accept when supporters are being asked to pay around £85 for a football shirt. We also seemed to release an enormous amount of merchandise. You'd get the home shirt, the away shirt, the third shirt and sometimes a fourth shirt. Then there would be training ranges, anniversary collections, retro inspired releases and limited edition products. I understand why clubs do it. Nobody's forced to buy every shirt and Rangers are obviously trying to maximise commercial revenue, but there's a point where every new release starts to feel less important. A new Rangers shirt used to feel like an event. When there's new products appearing constantly, the excitement begins to disappear. Then came the announcement that Umbro was returning. On the surface, that sounded brilliant. Umbro has genuine history with Rangers. The logo appeared on Rangers shirts during several memorable periods, and it's a brand that many supporters associate with traditional football kits. Castore had secured the Umbro professional teamwear license, and the Rangers kits continued under the existing partnership. That's why, for me, it hasn't felt like a proper change. It feels like the same product and the same structure with a more nostalgic logo attached to it. And that's actually quite frustrating because the Umbro name deserves better. I understand why Rangers wanted to use the history of the brand. I understand why supporters were initially excited about seeing Umbro again. The quality of the product still needs to justify the price. There have already been photographs and complaints surrounding the latest shirts, including material appearing stretched around badges and marks showing underneath heat applied logos. Whether every single shirt has those problems isn't the point. When supporters are paying premium prices, quality control complaints shouldn't be a regular part of the conversation. The other major issue is that Rangers reportedly extended the Castore agreement in 2023. The original 5-year deal should have ended in 2025, but reports from the Rangers Fan Advisory Board revealed that a new 7-year agreement had already been signed. That apparently keeps Rangers tied to Castore until 2030. The financial details of that extension haven't been made public, so it could be a very valuable agreement for the club. But it also means this isn't as simple as allowing the contract to expire next summer and choosing somebody else. Unless there are break clauses or an opportunity to renegotiate, Rangers may need to wait, reach a settlement or find another commercial solution. That's where the new ownership should eventually come into it. The group led by Andrew Kavanagh and 49ers Enterprises has spoken about building a more successful and sustainable Rangers. Part of that should involve examining how the club presents itself around the world. The Rangers shirt is one of the most visible parts of the entire club. The next time the kit contract is available, I don't think the decision should automatically come down to whoever offers the highest guaranteed payment. Obviously, the money matters. Rangers can't ignore millions of pounds just because supporters prefer 3 stripes or a tick, but the club should consider the complete value of the deal. What's the quality of the shirts? How reliable is the manufacturing? How good is the distribution? How much control will Rangers have over the designs? And will supporters actually feel that the product is worth buying? Personally, I'd love to see Rangers back with Adidas or Nike. My favourite Rangers kits have always come from those 2 eras. That might partly be nostalgia. It might also be connected to the success we enjoyed while wearing them. I think these shirts immediately bring back memories of the 9 in a row era, while the Nike kits remind me of some brilliant Rangers teams and some genuinely iconic designs. The designs looked clean, the badges, sponsors and colours worked together. Even decades later, supporters are still buying knockoffs and searching for the originals. That's the kind of lasting appeal Rangers should want from a kit partnership. Of course, signing with these big manufacturers wouldn't automatically guarantee that every Rangers shirt would be completely bespoke. The biggest manufacturers use templates as well, especially for clubs outside their most commercially valuable group. Rangers would need to negotiate properly and demand club-specific designs, historical details and genuine input into the final product. But even if Nike offered slightly less money than another company, I'd seriously consider taking the deal if the quality, availability and worldwide visibility were better. A cheaper contract on paper could still provide greater long-term value if supporters trust the product and actually want to buy it. Rangers shouldn't be treated like a logo that can be placed on ordinary teamwear and sold at a premium price. We're a massive football club with a huge support, a recognisable identity, and more than enough history to inspire unique designs. The Umbro logo might bring back good memories, but a nostalgic badge isn't enough. When the opportunity finally arrives, whether that's through renegotiation, an early exit, or the contract reaching its conclusion, Rangers should look for something genuinely different. Better materials, better quality control, fewer unnecessary releases, more distinctive designs, and a manufacturer that makes the Rangers shirt feel important again. That means moving away from both Castore and the Castore controlled Umbro arrangement as soon as it makes financial sense. We don't just need a different logo, we need a genuinely better product.